everybody, and welcome to podcast number 31 of the Real Estate Show. I'm Cherise Selley, and with me is Judy Steenland. We are with Selley Group Real Estate. And Judy, it is so fun to have you here and to share our experiences together on how we're seeing the market unfold. And things are really happening right now in 2022. Interesting things. And
Unprecedented things.
That's right. And we left it with the last podcast talking about what the average home price was for December of 2021, because as it stands on the day of airing this podcast, that's the latest numbers that we have in El Paso County. And that number is right at 505 on the average price. So that's really interesting. We're rolling out with, prices that have averaged over 500,000 to start this year. And with the shortage of inventory, and even on Christmas Eve, I had multiple offers on one of my listings. It got almost violent. It was crazy. It was a crazy Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
As we put up a listing and had multiple offers come in. We're not seeing that the market is cooling off right now. We may see that the appreciation for this year will level out because of interest rate changes, but we're not seeing that there is more supply. So supply and demand really affect what's happening as far as the bidding wars and the fact that people are still really hunting for homes right now.
Yeah.
Right in this off season. But Judy, I have to say, we were talking last week a little bit about, the fact that there has been so much appreciation even this last year. We've had an average of about 18% in this market of appreciation, 18.4%. And statistically, there was an article in Realtor magazine that said that the average owner of a home, and this is nationwide, the average housing wealth that has been gained over a 10-year period of time, can you take a guess at what that might be?
It's a big number. What is it?
It's
150? 200?
$225,000
Okay.
and $25,000 is the average gain from owning a home over the last 10 years across the nation.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That is incredible, because I still go back to, I think our millennials get a bad rap, and I use millennials because I've worked with a number of them. I'm not picking on them because I think they're in a strange space right now where they're buying at the high end of the market. These are first-time home buyers, and they're having to make the decision, do I buy or do I continue to rent? But when you hear that number over a 10-year period, it would be worth getting into the market and starting to build that wealth.
Right. And we talked about it last week, even if prices change, if they drop 5%, but interest rates go up like 0.77%. So not even 1% from what they were. If it goes from 3% to 3.77%, and the home price went from $515 to it dropped to $490, the payment will be $100 higher. So it's really interest rate driven on a lot of decisions. So we're still in very low interest rates, even if the Fed raises them a few more times this year. It's still historically low.
Yeah.
But there is increased pressure for buyers right now, knowing that interest rate hikes are on. They're going to happen. It's not just a if they happen. It's now been told by the Fed they will happen.
Yeah.
So that is increasing people's pressure on top of the low inventory.
Right. Well, and in our market, I think you gave the statistic last podcast that our new construction homes make up a big number or a big portion of the active listings we have on the market. So going into even new construction numbers, let's talk about that.
Oh my gosh, new construction. I mean, so yeah, there was like 388 or so homes on the market in this county, and there were less than 200 that were existing homes. That means the rest of those homes
were specs, or
more than 180 or so homes were new construction. And not all new construction is created equally right now.
That's right. There are a lot of challenges that we're seeing that we've never really faced in our careers.
What are you seeing out there?
So the certificate of occupancy is a document that has to be received before anyone can take possession of a house. So when we say CO, that's a certificate of occupancy. Certificate of occupancies are being granted right now with temporary garage doors, no gutters, no stone. I mean, stone is... A lot of the stone that I've had clients look at are more than 12 months out pre-ordered. So supplies are taking over a year to get right now. So if you're building custom, so custom is a completely different animal than buying a spec or doing semi-custom where you've got a number of choices. But yeah, we're looking at a year out on a lot of materials right now.
That's insane. And on top of that, we're finding locally, and I think this is happening all over the nation. I would be interested to hear other people's feedback that are not in this market to see if they're hearing about it in their market. But I'll have to say one of the most shocking things on a private Facebook forum that I'm a member of, a mastermind real estate group, it talked about a builder here locally in Colorado Springs that canceled contracts for everybody that they'd put their earnest money down and they're maybe very close to the closing date. And the builder canceled contracts and said you can re-enter a contract if you agree to pay $50,000 more than what they were contracted for before. And the reasoning behind this is that they said they're not making the profit that they're making in the Denver market. And they want to make up for the lack of profitability. And of course, builders are hard pressed because everything has gone up and, they're trying to keep their head above water too in a time of scarcity and lumber supplies issues and all these other supply issues that are happening. But I will say it almost seems criminal. Like, how can you get away with canceling a contract like that, charging people more? I think the real estate community, those of us who represent buyers, that's something we can't fully shield somebody from, but we can certainly explain the risks or what we're seeing in the marketplace.
Right. Because that's devastating. $50,000 could mean the difference of you qualifying, not qualifying, and the down payment that's required on that. It would literally knock a family or whoever it is buying a home out of the market for that home. I mean, they're having to move into an entire different price point.
They are completely. And so that's why, even though the market is so scarce with existing homes, it's certainly more known. It's more certain. I'm seeing more people than ever put up with homes that may need some work or some renovation, but they're buying what they know instead of what they don't know.
Right.
And then I'm finding the homes that we do, the pre-listing renovations, because we're very specialized in those kind of things, helping our sellers gain the maximum profit.
Yeah.
I'm finding that those they go like hotcakes and they exceed any comp in that area. When the pre-listing renovation is done right, we're finding that we've exceeded numbers. I hope that trend continues this year. I think it may. But last year it was incredible to see that. So there is something to say about owning an existing home and then making it your own and making it feel new as you go.
Right. Yeah, that new construction number right now, the dates and the numbers are moving targets. So it's hard to plan, especially when you're a planner, to know exactly when you're going to move in, what that number is going to look like. And I think that even it's even a bigger deal now on custom homes.
It is.
To know whether you're in a fixed rate contract, a cost plus contract, are there caps on that cost plus contract? So understanding that part of custom home building is super important.
And that takes incredible representation from an agent as well as guidance from an attorney to know, because the builder contracts are one-sided. They favor the builder.
Yes.
They do not favor the buyer. And we can't really change a builder contract, but you've got to know what you're getting into. So we definitely say that legal advice is one of the most important things you can have. And then having an agent that can help guide the other experiential parts about that new construction.
Yes.
That's so key.
Yeah. Adjusting the expectation of what used to be the standard is very important because that's not the standard now.
It isn't. And there are so many great builders that are still here
yes.
and still working.
Yes.
And it's a matter of everybody changing. I love that word, expectations. It's a matter of changing expectations, and we're all doing that together.
Right.
And it's being in movement and helping the buyer to understand, are you qualified to go above what you think you're paying? Because what if that goes up 10 to 15% in the course of what you're doing or more? Can you afford that? Don't get into it if you can't.
Right. Well,
and the even, time delays, like, can you find
yes.
a place and commit to a place? Because more than likely you're going to be spending more, and it's going to take longer to fulfill that new construction project.
Yes.
But it could be very well worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Or if you need certainty of time, don't get in the game of building a home from the dirt.
Yeah.
You'll never have that certainty right now.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's a moving target. And for someone who's a planner, I'm a planner.
No,
so
I don't know that about you at all.
That makes me a little crazy. And having built, 2 homes here in Colorado Springs, to even think through the process of doing both of those things now is a little bit daunting. However, we just closed, and we're helping people who are in the middle of construction,
yes.
Projects.
That's right.
It is doable. Again, the expectation of being very flexible on time and knowing that the cost may be higher than what you originally expected.
So that is a very good reason to connect with an agent who isn't just there to blow through the process, but there to guide you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of really good agents around here are doing that. And that is exactly, for us in our group, we're all very versed in new construction, and it's something that we really want to help guide people through.
That's right. And it doesn't stop at closing, because even on a new construction home, there are plenty of projects that need to be done after closing, even sometimes more than on an existing home. We've got landscaping now. We've got organization. We've got customizations that weren't done in the building process. And so we continue to communicate. And
does this mean you'll roll out the sod for the people when they buy a home?
Okay, let's be clear. I'm not talking manual labor here.
Okay, all right. I just wanted
However,
to draw that line.
I do know how to use a drill very well.
She's amazing. I'm actually intimidated by those skills, Judy, but I will call you when I need your help.
Yes,
okay?
I can install a lot of things.
That's amazing. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and please catch us next time as we keep you apprised of the Colorado real estate market, Colorado Springs market, and also what's happening across the nation. Thank you.